So they tried to put me on statins for 3 years, and I'm really glad that I advocated for myself. So I am going on my 3rd year of post double bypass heart surgery to prevent the Widowmaker heart attack. So I had the Widowmaker heart attack, or the Widowmaker, but I had a 0.02% anomaly. So a very extremely rare heart condition that created disease because my artery was in the back and really narrow, and there was an angle at the main, and it created turbulent blood flow. So if you're following me, thank you so much if you're following for heart stuff, but also just know that anything that I say or recommend is my experience. The doctors are the experts, and this is just what I went through. So I opted to not do statins 6 years ago because I kept going in. They kept telling me my cholesterol was high. It was on the borderline. And I was like, okay, I understand that it's high. I'm not going on statins right now. I just need to reduce my stress. So for 3 years, they kept having me, recommending statins. And I think I was 47, 46, 45, maybe 44 then. And I knew that I had high stress levels. I was maybe 15 pounds overweight. I wasn't sleeping. And I was raising teenagers, which is like one of the hardest jobs in the world. And so my kids had gone away for the summer each time. And I'm like, all I need is sleep, less stress. I don't need to have heartache from relationships, which I will agree, or I will say that heartache is worse than heart surgery. Like the havoc that it wreaks on your body is really bad. Like even just relationship stress. Anyways, my point is they wanted to put me on statins, and I would lose about 15 pounds. I would start sleeping, and I would just start eating better and taking care of my mental, physical, and emotional health. And then my cholesterol would go down. And then I didn't need statins all of a sudden. But when my doctor kept saying, let's put you on statins for preventative reasons, I did my research and I opted for a calcium score exam. And a lot of insurance companies will not cover this. You'll have to pay it out of pocket. And I highly recommend that you do, because a Facebook friend of mine, she lost her husband due to the Widowmaker. She came out and he was just dead on the floor. And she advocates for a heart scoring exam when you start getting your heart test, because that exam will shoot dye in your arteries, and they'll do all these imaging, and they'll let you know if your arteries are clogged. So in my case, the doctor kept wanting to put me on statins, even though I was an Ironman triathlete. I was doing, at that time, 6 years ago, 24-hour fitness events, 12-hour fitness events, and it made no sense. I was like, no, we don't even have heart disease in our family. So luckily, I did this heart scoring exam, and it came back at 0. And it basically said, I do not have clogged arteries. So in that case, I would just take care of my mental, physical health and try not to have too much weight. For me, also, I'm an islander, Guamanian. And so, our cholesterol runs a little high anyways. But most importantly, what happened was, I just went about my life. And about 2 years later is when I started having episodes of high rapid heartbeat during workouts, which was really weird because I was doing 24-hour fitness events here in Colorado, moved to Florida, and then just walking on the beach flat. My heart rate would beat rapidly until about 15 minutes, and then it would go down. So just if you want to follow these videos, you'll see bits and pieces of my story just to help you advocate for yourself. I ended up passing out, walking up my stairs with groceries a year before I found out that I had the Widowmaker. And I went into emergency, and they told me I was just dehydrated. So if you're a woman, a lot of times we get misdiagnosed, like, oh, it's anxiety, or, oh, you need to lose weight. And in my case, I was like, oh, I'm too fat, or I need to work out more, I'm not conditioned, or, oh, I'm so stressed. And I kept thinking it was me and I had to do more. And it turns out I had the Widowmaker. It was, again, a rare heart defect. So it turns out I don't have heart disease. I just had heart disease in that area. So I'm on no meds. And yes, I've had double bypass, right? So I have my artery missing, and then they Cut my sternum open. But going back to statins, so I go in, for a routine checkup. So if you are in your late 40s or 50s, I know a lot of us don't want to go to the doctor, but just ask for a routine checkup. And how I got in is I told them I had the vid months earlier and I was having heart palpitations, and they got me in right away. So that helped me get in quick, because I knew if I said that, they would get in quick. So I ended up going to a routine checkup with my primary care physician. They went in, they asked me, do you want a stress test or do you want an MRI? I'm like, I would rather have an MRI. If you could see in my chest, my heart, why wouldn't I want that? So the MRI showed a birth defect, which I had to go in and get a heart cath. So all the tests besides the MRI and the heart cath didn't show what I had. So you have to advocate for yourself. And so this is about statins. So I go through my heart surgery and everything, and they do another calcium score exam during heart surgery. And guess what? Lo and behold, it also came back at 0, which means I don't have heart disease. I just had disease at the main because of the kinked artery that was creating the turbulent blood flow. I bring this up because here I am right here at a cardiologist, and they're saying that my LDLs are a little high and my cholesterol is a little high, so they're asking to put me on statins. And I know what my medical history is. So you need to know what your medical history is. My medical history is I don't have heart disease. Doesn't mean I'm not going to develop heart disease. That doesn't mean anything. It just means, as far as I know today, I don't have heart disease. So no, I don't want to be put on statins, because from what I understand is once you get put on statins, you're dependent on those for the rest of your life, and it messes everything else up. I know for a fact that when I was prescribed statins over and over and over and over, all I had to do was go lose a little weight, 10, 15 pounds, even 10 pounds dropped my cholesterol, and sleep, stress less, and break up with your boyfriend. And so I just want to encourage you to advocate for yourself, because now this doctor is like, yeah, you should be put on statins just in case, and start taking a baby aspirin. But again, it's very difficult when you're dealing with different cardiologists and different doctors in different states. My case is so rare that when I go into these cardiologists, they don't even have all the records. They don't have all the records. They're not reading. I personally feel a lot of times they're just trying to do the normal protocol. And this is why you have to advocate for yourself. So going back to statins, listen to your doctor. But before you do, and you're reluctant, if you want to go on statins, great, go on statins. In my case, I was reluctant because I don't take any medication. Even like I take no meds. Like I'm when I need to take them, I need to take them, but I'm not doing it now. And after heart surgery, I think I was on 15 or 20 meds. They took me off meds right away. They're like, you can get off all of like the heart meds, metoprolol, and this, I think that might be a statin. I don't even know. But my doctor was like, yeah, you can start doing keto right away. You can get off the statins. You can start working out. Go girl, right? And then I go to these other cardiologists and they're like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? You're doing too much. And so you have to just know your body and advocate for yourself. So, anyways, I have my cholesterol test tomorrow. And once I get that back, then I will change my lifestyle before I go on statins. And I will also ask for a heart scoring exam, which I have a CT scan coming up at the end of the month. I want to see all those before I start taking medication full time. So I'd love to know what your thoughts are. And if you feel like you could have done a little bit more research before going on statins, but this is my personal story.